Thank you for being with us. Hey, and as we've talked about all year, we were so excited, some of the players we had around this time last year, we really started diving into this, figuring out who we were picking up, who we were getting. And, Will, we're going to dive right into the free agent grades from a year ago. We got a bunch of free agents. I'm going to name them really quickly, and then we'll go through them one by one. Ryan Fitzpatrick, punk. Sorry. Look, you know how much I was jumping on his bandwagon. William Jackson, Curtis Samuel. We made a trade for Eric Flowers, and we got Charles Leno. And I'll start with Fitzpatrick. I mean, we joke about incomplete being a scorer, but how can I, he was hurt in the first half of the first game of the season and didn't play the rest of the year. You know what I mean? I can't really say I give him any kind of a grade. He really, I was on here a year ago, sitting here, let's go. I want the Magic. Give me 7 or 8 games of the Magic. I'm ready. I touted him all off season, going into the preseason. But again, even in the preseason, the few games we did see, he wasn't knocking lights out. Like he wasn't, dominating these games, these preseason games. Mind you, he might have only got a series here or a couple series here, but towards the end of those preseason, he was getting full halves, and we still weren't doing that much. You know what I mean? What grade do you think Fitz?
I mean, I feel bad, like you said. I mean, I'm going to give him an F because he got $10 million and played like 16 snaps. Come on. But like you said, I mean, that part, you can't fault him for that. But no, you're right. I mean, I thought the offense would click more, but even in that Chargers game, they were struggling. The offense was in it. It is week 1 and stuff, but it just, things didn't seem to be coming together. So yeah, I mean, I gave him an F.
You have to.
It has to be. Yeah.
You absolutely have to. Well, I'm going to come to you on this next one. We got him. He used to play for the Cincinnati Bengals. William Jackson III at corner. What do you think about him?
I'm grading him a D. Mm-hmm. And this one really bothers me because I was so excited for him, and I thought he'd be this shutdown corner that opposite Kendall Fuller, and he had a pick in week 1, which was him diving, and then he only had one other one the rest of the season. I do think they struggled to mesh with what he does well versus what they're looking for. They say he's a man coverage, and we asked him to do a lot of zone, and I don't understand why we would do that. And so part of me doesn't want to fault him, but bottom line, he got burnt so much this season. He really didn't perform well. So if I'm going by the contract, by your performance, he was a D this year.
He has to be. Shout out to Janae Struther, who commands your team.
I was hoping you weren't going to give her this.
In order to be commander, you need someone who commands. Don't start.
Janae, just wait. We got a little segment coming on. You just wait to see who might be coming to Washington.
There you go.
Because you might be eating them words.
Right. Honestly, with William Jackson, there was so much hype. We hyped him. We felt like he was going to be that size, a bigger corner, having him on one side and, and the guy, a rookie that ended up showing out that we're going to talk about a little later, him on the other side, we felt like we can really hold it, like shut down the outside. But, got hurt for a little bit. But when he was in there, it just wasn't anything to write home about. And honestly, I was very disappointed. I was very disappointed in his performance. I know we all expected more, and with what we paid, he should have got more. So I got to go D- on this, and the reason I'm going to go D- because he did get a couple interceptions, and he did have times where he looked decent, but it wasn't consistent. It wasn't, we could not rely on him, and he was not the lockdown threat that we hoped for. So, for the money we paid and for the hype that was given, you gotta provide more than just that.
Absolutely.
Moving on to the next one, another incomplete or F, Mr. Curtis Samuel. You got to show the best ability is availability. If you're not on the field, if you can't show up, how can I grade you? You know what I mean? We had another one that we had hyped. And this is a theme you talked about earlier, that we made big moves, big splashy moves to get some of these guys. And a lot of them, this was a current theme. Got hurt, weren't able to play. You know, Samuel, he was supposed to be our number 2. You know what I mean? And I believe he directly affected the growth of some of the other guys we're going to talk about. Humphreys is another one that we're not really going to bring up as much. But, you know, when you bring in a guy like Samuel to play with a McLaurin, he was supposed to take some of the heat off of McLaurin. And, you know, not on the field, you can't do that. When he is on the field, I remember what one game he came in and did decent and looked like, okay, we're going to put him back in the fold, and then he immediately gets hurt again. You know, I can't rely on that. I can't rely on that. So we'll see how it goes forward. But, Will, what do you think about Curtis Samuel?
Yeah, I mean, again, same thing. Contract expectations, performance this year, it was an F. He didn't live up. And I fault the team a little bit, though, too, for like, you know, it's like we kept trying to string him along instead of shutting him down, putting him on IR, and then bringing him back. But I love this question from Nate because, no, I don't think you trade him because I hate saying this, but I think he's going to take J.D. McKissic's role next year. McKissic is a free agent, and I don't think there's enough ball for all of them. Because Gibson's going to get a larger role, and I don't think that, you know, I think McKissic's going to have a market out there for him, and I hope I'm wrong, but I think McKissic and Samuel do the same thing, and whether it's doing stuff in the backfield or just running routes as a slot, he's gonna, you know, we need him next year.
Yeah, I can see, you know, I can see Curtis Samuel playing in that McKissic role, almost like using him almost like a Deebo Samuel, you know, or he run him out on the edge and then he comes back in the backfield and takes a pitch, yes, or to get him more touches and get him. But again, you got to be healthy.
Yeah,
you got to be healthy. Yeah, I agree with you. Don't trade him. Let's see what we can get out of him. Coming to you next, we went and traded for this guy, Eric Flowers. What do you think about that?
This dude is made to play for Washington. It was an absolute steal. This is the only place he's good. Yeah. You know, I think we traded a 6th-round pick, and Miami paid half of his $10 million to just get him out the door. It was an A. Like that's again, like my concern right now with this front office is we're good at these low-level decisions. These Eric Flowers, the next guy we're going to talk about at left tackle, the year before getting McKissic and Logan Thomas. Like, they hit home runs on these lesser-known guys, and then we just completely botched our big signings. So yeah, that was awesome. Hey.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. I absolutely agree with you on this. And moving on, just a couple of these two, Charles Leno that we got from the Bears. I agree on both of them, because the funny thing about it is, for all the issues that we all know and addressed throughout the season, O-line, with all the many people that we had to put in, they showed up and they showed out for most of the year. I mean, there's a couple, the Dallas game was obviously a little crazy, but with the amount of people we put on that O-line, having Leno, having Flowers, having them ball out the way that they did, I got to go with you. I got to give them an A as well. And like you mentioned a couple weeks ago, got to give that coach an A, that offensive line coach getting A. You talk about next man up. This side, you. Here we go.
Four centers.
Are you in agreement? But same with Leno, he gets A2 for you.
Oh, or? Yeah. He cost us $5 million. You know, Ron talked about him in the locker room teaching Sam Cosmi. Like, I mean, oh my gosh, that was a huge deal. Like, thank you, Chicago.
Take that. Nate Snell says B+.
Right on with us.
Next along the line, I put this on here. You said it before, and the last one on here. Bobby McCain, got it from Miami. What did you get him?
Man, this dude frustrates me.
Mm-hmm.
I gave him a C because he wasn't bad. He wasn't that good. He did have 2 picks in our game against the Giants, including a pick 6. So hey, but I want a playmaker back there, and I think he's a solid player, but he's not gonna no one's going to be scared to go deep on him. And I want someone that's going to be scared to go deep. So he was a C. He cost us less than like $5 million.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So for me, I got to go. I'm gonna go B- because of how much we got him for, and he was on the field. He had those couple interceptions. You talked about that pick 6 in the Giants game. He was able to continue to play on the field, and for what we got him for that situation and the need, because of all the injuries, about Landon Collins being out for that time, and the corner St. Juice going out, and Jackson not playing up par, having McCain there. And having that veteran presence definitely was helpful to us. But like you said, you wanted to see a little bit more. But for the price, I'll go B-.
Yeah.
I'll go that. So let me ask you this. What is your overall grade for all the free agents from last year?
Well, looking at this thing, I have an F, a D, and an F.
Right.
I don't know how strong that A can really balance it. And especially, I'm going to weight these grades because of the fact that, like, the A for Eric Flowers can't be as like weighted as the William Jackson botch or the Curtis Samuel or the Fitz. So I'm going to go D+. I'll go D+. I'm going to hit him hard. It didn't work out because what my concern was, the same issues that we had in 2020 happened in 2021. Our offense was terrible. The quarterback, we had a quarterback, we had one wide receiver, and then when Logan Thomas went out, we struggled there. It's like D+.
Yeah. Nathan says B-. I'm gonna go C. Fitzpatrick, Curtis Samuel, two of our biggest offseason moves, and neither of them panned out. So I don't think you can go any higher than a C. I definitely want to give credit to that O-line because if we remember, there was somebody that said we need to get as many lines as possible, and we used every one of them.
You did. The guys that you said that were keeping that got cut, they got brought back and they played. And your boy Keith Ishmael didn't look too bad at times. He had some serviceable parts as a backup.
So look, I got to give credit to the O-line, and I got to give credit to McCain for staying with it. But like you said, you cannot go any higher than a C-. I mean, because of the three top guys that you got, William Jackson, Curtis Samuel, Fitzpatrick, none of them panned out at all. William Jackson played the most out of those three and didn't play great when he was in there. So I got to just even it out at a C, and hopefully we can get some return out of at least 2 out of the 3 because, like we talked about, Fitz will be gone.
If we were both teachers at Herndon High School, the students would pick you over me because you're a much nicer grader.
I'm trying, man. I'm positively. New name, new excitement.
Right.
Hopefully, I don't know. No, but we have got to move on because the other thing that we dove into a year ago